So, what's up guys? Part 3. So this is the fun part, installing the turbo in the lines. So, pretty much there's not much to say, it's pretty straightforward. So I'll basically show you how to do it, or show you how I did it. And yeah, so cool. Alright, so it's a new day. Pretty much I'm just gonna start moving the car. Haven't moved it in like 2 weeks. So there was a bad windstorm and they got a ton of crap under there. I cleaned the rest of the driveway pretty much, but I have to clean under there. And then I'll start putting some stuff on. So yeah, it's pretty nasty under there. Bunch of cobwebs and stuff too. So anyways, I'm gonna move this bad boy and then get to work. As you can see, it was a pretty big mess under there. Also, the car is looking pretty dirty too, so definitely have to clean it up once I'm done working on it. So anyways, I'm gonna sweep this up and then we'll get cracking. Alright, so got it pretty clean. There's nothing more frustrating than when you're trying to roll on your creeper and you hit a rock or a stick or something and you get stuck and you have to keep rolling around till you can get in the right spot. So it's good to just clean it up. I can't really move the car any way but forwards and backwards. As you can see, I have no wheel right now. So there's another one on its way, but it's not here yet. So all I can do is pretty much move it forwards and backwards. Anyways, so yeah, I just gotta go inside. I got all the parts and stuff in there, and then kind of just start putting them on. And yeah, hopefully everything goes pretty smooth. So yep. So I'm pretty excited. Let me pop the hood real quick. It's probably gonna look like a disaster under here. Well, pretty much here's my pod filter and the intake and everything. Just using the stock intake except for the filter, obviously. Hot pipe with a non-functioning blow-off valve. I just stuck a piece of plastic in there to kind of cap it off. So I'm probably just gonna get a blank hot pipe with no blow-off valve on it, so I can run it super JDM with the flutter and everything. So not much to say. The only thing that I can see is kind of being, well, it's all kind of not the most fun job ever to put all this stuff back, but I think the biggest issue is going to be this guy, this old rubber one that used to be on there, because it goes like way back here, and then there's like a hose clamp, and there's like, you know, probably like 2 or 3 fingers between the firewall and the motor, so it's kind of difficult to get back there. Plus there's like heater hoses and stuff. So other than that, shouldn't be too bad. So got everything out. The only issue I kind of ran into already is that I had these studs that I was going to use for here, you know, for putting the intake elbow on, but unfortunately these studs are a little bit too long, which don't really understand, because it looks like it would be good, but oh well. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is just saying forget the studs, and I'm just going to get like 2 bolts, and then I can just bolt it on, you know, like a hex bolt right there, just 2, and that way we'll be good. But I can do that once it's on the car. And So kind of the way I'd like to do this is have the turbo elbow on like it is, and just not have either the another elbow for the hot pipe or the intake elbow on. Well, the intake elbow doesn't really matter that much, but the you can't have the one for the hot pipe on and have the elbow on, at least not with the setup I have, because it won't fit. It's like super tight. You may be able to get it to fit, but it's just it's kind of like performing brain surgery or something. You just kind of have to, like, you know, probably that's not a good analogy, but so yeah, if you look in there, you can see my, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but my downpipe is right there. So pretty much I just have to, you kind of have to wiggle the elbow just between the steering shaft, just get it in there. So anyways, probably first thing first, I'm probably gonna try and get this guy off. Alright, so I finally got this guy, the old rubber one, off. It took forever. I finally just had to cut it, you can't really see now, but I ended up cutting it with a razor knife, just like kind of to split it a little, and then it came off pretty easily after that. So anyways, I'm not looking forward to putting this guy on, because it's going to be a pain to be able to tighten this hose clamp on the end. So anyways, before I do that, I'm probably going to install this little nipple onto the motor, so that way I can just screw on the line straight onto it. I don't have to worry about screwing this in with the turbo and everything on. And I might try actually putting this, because this little eyeball piece comes unscrewed, so I'm not sure if it's going to be easier to just do it kind of how it was before, where you just put this up and then stick the banjo bolt through, or if it'll be easier to just put the banjo and this on and then just tighten it on when it's on. So I'll kind of experiment with that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll kind of show you on the car in a minute once I kind of take it off. So alright, so this is kind of what I was talking about. I hope you guys can see in here. But this is the nipple for the water line, and then this is for the oil line down here. So I'm not quite sure about this one. I think I'll be able to get it on. If not, it's not that hard to get on, and even with the turbo on, there's still a lot of room to get like an extension in here. But this one, I'm pretty positive it's going to be a lot easier just to leave it like this. So yeah, I'm getting ready to put the turbo in the manifold and everything in there, and yeah. So this is the fun part, because it's gonna take some wiggling around. Maybe I'll try and set the GoPro up somewhere so you can kind of see. But anyways, I got to take all this stuff off. So yep, just give me a second. Alright, so one thing, I went on a search kind of far and wide, at least at the hardware stores, to find a bolt like this. I think it's a M10 by 1.25, I think. So, but the thing that's strange is, as you can see, it's pretty thin. So like the outside, I think, is a 14 mil on here. So the only thing that they had is this, which is, you can see them next to each other. It's pretty big. I think this might actually be like either a 15 or a 17. So anyways, tip on the line on the back of the turbo, the water line, I had it facing down, but the best way to have it is facing this way towards the firewall, so that way you'll have plenty of room. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of blends in, but the line goes right here and then comes right back there. So pretty much just have pretty self-explanatory, have the hose clamp facing up, and then you got enough space right here to fit a flathead to tighten it down. So another thing, if you have some, I just used some silicone grease, throw some on the little metal fitting back in there. Just throw a little bit of silicone around it, and the hose will slide on really easily. The old hose was a pain to get off because it was stuck on there from being on there for so long. So if you just throw a little bit of grease, it slides right on. Just a little tip. So anyways, I just need to connect the other lines, connect the exhaust, put on the elbows. So really, I think mostly the hard stuff is done. So yep. So next I'll probably do I'll probably do the water line first, the other water line, and then I'll do the oil line. So alright, so I got all the lines on. I didn't really film much between the water and the oil line, because it was pretty uneventful. It's actually super easy to get them on. So definitely it's best to put the eyeball for the banjo bolt on first, and then just tighten the line onto it once it's on. That just makes it way easier. So yeah, and just another thing, like I said before, just that line on the back, just make sure it's facing towards the firewall, because it is a pain to adjust the line while it's on the car. So I got the downpipe out of the car. I figured since I haven't had a good seal on the exhaust pretty much in the whole time that I've had the car, I decided I'm going to take it off, and then I'm going to RTV it, bolt it together. It says let it sit for an hour, then tighten it completely. So I'll probably do that here, and then I'll put it on the car, and I'll RTV here and then RTV here. So as you can see too, right now I actually have a test pipe on the car, but I decided I'm going to put my 3-inch cat back on it. I had it on for a while, and then I switched to the test pipe. Basically with the test pipe, it will spool. I've found that it feels like it hits a little bit harder, and I think it might actually like spike boost a little bit. But since I have an adjustable actuator now, it doesn't really matter to me. I can just raise the actuator a little bit so I can get a little bit more boost. So anyways, see, I'm gonna be a responsible adult and put on the cat. So then yeah, once I get it, I'll probably let this sit for an hour. Once I RTV it, I just got red RTV, which is high temp. It's good to like 650. So that should be more than enough for this piece right here. So anyways, I'll stick it all together and I'll kind of show you guys the progress. I just want to show this is about the amount of RTV I'm putting on there. You don't need to put a ton on there. I mean, this is kind of even too much, but yeah, you just kind of want enough for a good seal. This is probably going to ooze out everywhere. Alright, so I decided that I'm just going to stick everything together. I had RTV'd the cat onto the downpipe, but I decided I'm just going to RTV and kind of just like bolt everything together, and then once it dries, tighten it up like it says on the instructions. So yeah, it's kind of going to be a pain to put it all up by myself, since it's kind of, the downpipe by itself isn't very heavy and the cat by itself isn't very heavy, but the together it's kind of a pain. Alright, so I got all the exhaust put back, just waiting for it all to dry, the RTV, so I'll probably just let it sit overnight. And just when you're putting it back, just make sure you put the downpipe on first. I was starting to put the cat on in the back section, and then you can't get the downpipe on, so make sure you put the downpipe on first. Another thing I noticed is I think this turbo is clocked just slightly different than the T25 I had on here. So I don't know if you can see it, but the turbo, the drain line, the oil drain line, it's at a little bit different of an angle. So what I think I'm going to do is just unscrew the bolts and pull it off, and then just bend it a little bit, which should be okay. So I just need to bend it a little bit more towards the motor, and then we should be good. So yep. Alright, so this thing is really hard to bend. So I kind of measured it up. If I cut it right about here, then it'll be perfect. So I'm just gonna get the angle grinder, just cut it right there, and we should be good. So alright, so not the prettiest work I've ever done, but serves its purpose. So it should be good now. I'll stick it up, test it, see. Should be good. I should just be able to hook it right up. So alright. Alright, so I went to, I had to run to the store real quick. So I got some, just got some bolts that I was going to put on here. And I have, I'm going to use a lock washer too, just in case. Then also, I cut this, and so now the hose is able to go at the right angle, but this was a little too short, so I just ran and grabbed just a big piece of hose. I think this should be good for running oil, but I'll just keep an eye on it. If it starts to get funky and soft, I'll just switch hoses, and maybe I'll get a braided line for the drain too. So anyways, I'll put some of this stuff on. I'm going to RTV this guy too because I don't have a gasket for it. So just make sure that there's a good seal no matter what. So cool. I do have a gasket for this guy though, so that one I'll just use a gasket for. Anyways. Alright, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark out here. It's starting to get dark, but yeah, I pretty much got everything hooked up as far as I got that heater core hose on the back of the motor hooked up, which was probably one of the most difficult parts, to be honest, because there's like there's no way for me to really show you, but there's basically like for this fat one, there's a pipe, and then there's a smaller pipe on the other side, which is for the coolant line for the turbo, and they're really close together, so once you have the braided line on there, super hard to get the heater core line on there, and especially to get a sorry, my next door neighbors are being crazy right now, but to put the hose clamp on there is really hard because it's like super snug. So anyways, another thing to make sure, just make sure you got your actuator connected, because that's like super important. That you could blow your motor if that thing is not connected. You'll just spool to infinity and then grenade, you know, so that's no fun. Anyways, I'm gonna fill it up with coolant and then we should be good. Alright, so I'm gonna try and give it a fire up, so we'll see. Alright, sorry it's pretty dark, but I don't know if you'll be able to see in there, but it's completely full of fuel in cylinder number 1. So I'm not sure if it was just triggering to dump or what, but yeah, it's completely full fuel. So yeah, I went to crank it and I was like, it kind of smells like fuel, so I checked, and this hose was actually a little loose and it was leaking fuel, but I took the plugs out and it's full of fuel, so yeah, I'm probably just gonna let it come out. Since the spark plugs are out, I might push it and just see what's going on. So anyway, alright, so pretty much I'm getting ready for startup. It's another day. I don't know how good the footage was from the other night, but I'll just tell you basically what happened. So the O-ring on this injector was like disintegrated, so pretty much it was just like dumping fuel into the cylinder, and so I didn't have the starter hooked up, so yeah, I didn't have the starter hooked up, so I went to crank it and I just forgot about it, and so basically the fuel pump was running, and so it just like filled up cylinder number 1 like almost completely with fuel. And so I just like I basically took all the plugs out, and that's how I found out. So I just left it open to evaporate, and I checked today, it was completely evaporated. So this is gonna be the first start with the eBay turbo, the ISIS turbo lines, and running an oxygen sensor that's actually hooked up to the ECU. So I'm gonna give it try and see if I can get it to start. This is gonna be first try, so Here we go. So I don't know if you can hear me that well, but it was a success. First try, started up. So it's idling a little high right now, but that's probably just because it's trying to warm up. So doesn't look like any smoke is coming out, so it's a good sign. So. Definitely idling high, so I'm gonna let the car just run for a couple minutes since it hasn't ran in a while, and yeah, check for some leaks and stuff. So cool. Alright, so the car is pretty much up to temp right now, so I'm just gonna take it for a quick spin around the block, see kind of the boost and everything. So I'm probably not gonna take it too hard, but anyways, the windshield's super dirty. Sorry, using one hand right now. The new wheel is actually pretty nice. Feels really good just cruising around first try. So the idle's kind of gone back to normal as I've been driving. So that's good. Probably not gonna hit it too hard right now. Kind of pulling onto the main road. Up to almost 1 bar, so that's a little bit too much. But feels really good. It's like super smooth compared to the T25 I had in there. The T25 was not, the T25 that I bought was from a dude who upgraded his turbo, and so he just wanted to get rid of his T25. I think he bought like a TD05 or something. So I'm just gonna see, hold on, sorry, I know I was kind of talking, but I'm just gonna see how when it hits boost on here. So at like 3,000, if you floor it from like 2,000 at by 3, it's already at like half bar, which is like 7 psi. So. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna cruise home, adjust the actuator a little bit, and then probably take it for another spin, just see where boost is at. So yeah, that was part 3. So basically reactions to the new turbos. It's definitely more, not only is the boost threshold higher, it probably like hits full boost at like 4,000 RPM, but also like going on and off boost. It's a little bit laggier, you can tell, but that's to be expected with the bigger AR on the turbine housing. So anyways, not really something that I wasn't expecting, but kind of a downside. Anyways, I'll kind of I'm planning to go to a drift event pretty soon, so once I kind of drift with it, I'll kind of give you more of an impression of what I think of it, because it's kind of hard to say just kind of cruising around the street, because you're not like always on boost, you know, and even if you're just, you know, hitting it hard a couple times, you're really not going at it to its full potential, really. So once I take it to the track, then we'll kind of see what it's all about. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the little series, the mini series that I did. Like always, if you liked the video, thumbs up, or leave me a comment, or you know, if you're feeling really generous and feel like you want to be nice to me, hit the subscribe button. So anyways, yeah, see you next time.